All right, thank you. For this session, this is Albert's academic advising orientation session. This is one of two orientation sessions. You only need to attend one. This session will help you prepare for the registration sessions that will be taking place starting next Monday, July 18th through the 28th. So we hope that you have signed up for one registration session the next couple of weeks. So for this session today, you will meet our team of Albert's professional advisors. And then we will go over two important questions, I'm sure, are burning questions for you right now, which are what classes will I be taking in the fall quarter and how can you register for classes? So we'll talk about that. And then we'll also talk about services available on campus while you're here at SU. And then we'll go back to next steps to help you prepare for the registration sessions that will be happening the next couple of weeks. And then of course, we'll wrap with a Q&A. Okay, on the next slide. Okay, first of all, we want to start with introducing you all to the different layers of advising we have designed for you while you're here at SU and at Albers. There are lots of resources and support for you. So we hope that you utilize these when you're here at SU. First and foremost, you will be assigned a new student mentor and NSM. These are your peer mentors. They are Albers juniors and seniors who are familiar with SU, familiar with Albers. They know what it's like being a business student. They have been where you are right now, so they can be that peer support to help you transition during your first year as an Albers student. And then you will have professional advisors, which is our team here today, and you'll get to meet us a little bit more throughout this presentation. So professional advisors, we're here to help you plan for courses. So we do academic planning support. We can also be of support when you need academic services such as tutoring or any kind of services at all, including mental health support or academic accommodations, any sort of services that you need to be a successful student at SU, we can be your resources and your referrals. And then Albers Placement Center is something very unique to Albers. We have a career center specifically for Albers students. Professional career advisors help you with internship and job placement towards the end of your academic career when you're a senior. They can also help you with resumes and prepare you for interviews. So highly recommend that you utilize this APC, Albers Placement Center, when you're ready. And then last but not least, faculty mentor. Starting your sophomore year all the way through your junior and senior year, you will be assigned a faculty mentor, an Albers faculty mentor who can be another voice of advice or support or guidance when you go through the process of perhaps selecting your major, or if you want to talk about jobs, careers, or even graduate school, Albers faculty mentor can be of another voice for advice and guidance. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So this is the professional advising team, the Albers undergraduate advising team. Starting from the upper left corner is the director of undergraduate programs, Stephen Johnson. Going clockwise are our three academic advisors, myself and Colpitts and David Carter. And we will be your academic advisor from day one until when you graduate in 4 years or whatever that timeline is for you. We will help you plan for classes when you're ready to declare a major, if you haven't already, or if you want to add a minor, anything of that sort, we can be of support. Also, if you need support with, like I mentioned before, tutoring, anything at all, mental health services, learning accommodations, we can be of referrals to on-campus services. Okay, we will advance to this next slide. We just talked about this. Let's just move on to the next one.
Sorry, I don't know why it's not going. There we go.
Okay, so advising and you, Albert or SU is on a quarter system. You may have heard of semester or trimester systems before, but the quarter system is different. It is 10 weeks. So your classes will be 10 weeks plus 1 week at the end for finals. So it's very quick. It will be very fast paced. So aside from going to classes, there are important dates and deadlines from an advising standpoint that we want to share with you. So the first week of the quarter is the week that you can add or drop classes if you want. So that will be a conversation you want to have with either Ann, David, or myself, whoever is your assigned advisor. And then from weeks 2 to 8 is when you can withdraw from a class. Dropping from a class and withdrawing from a class are slightly two different things. So again, you want to check in with your advisor before you take any action. During the quarter prior to registration for the next quarter will be the advising period. So imagine perhaps the first half of the quarter, weeks 1 to 5, is when you want to get with your advisor to plan for courses in your next quarter. And then right around mid-quarter is when registration starts for the next quarter. So for fall quarter, winter registration will be starting on November 15th. So you can imagine the fall quarter will go very fast. Classes will start at the end of September and you turn around in about a month and a half, you register again. So keep in mind these important dates and deadlines. If you're ever in doubt, ask one of us, ask your advisor or any one of us before you make decisions or take actions on anything. Okay. All right, I will hand it over to Ann to talk about Albert's degree.
All right, thank you. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what degree options are available for you in Albers, and also how your degree is structured, and then how that impacts what classes you're going to choose for your first quarter. So I know that's really our main goal today, is to help you get ready for that first quarter. So we have 2 degree paths in Albers. I think most of you are probably planning on doing one of our business majors. That's the bulk of our students are doing something related to business. And your options for specialization within the business major are accounting, business analytics, business economics, which is economics, but with a really broad business foundation. The business and law program, which is a 3+3 program where you enter law school in your final year at SU and then finish law school, I guess, in a total of 6 years with including your bachelor's. Finance, we do have an individualized major that allows you to combine 3 of our majors into one. And then we also offer management and marketing. And for students who are interested in economics and not wanting that broad business preparation, but just to focus on economics as a social science, we also offer a Bachelor of Arts in Economics. So here is, actually we'll go back. Here is a map, or kind of a schematic of our total degree requirements. So the first thing that you're really going to be working on in your first couple of quarters at SU is the university core. If you've watched some of the orientation, or if you've gone through some of the orientation modules, you may already be familiar with this. But if not, that's also okay. So we'll talk through it right now. So our university core is our general, what we call our general education classes at Seattle U. And if you have friends going to other universities and they're taking, maybe English 101 and a natural science and a humanities class, your module 1 university core classes are going to look very similar to that. So it's kind of introductory level U core classes are what you will start with. And then they will go into the details about the U core a little bit later, but they'll kind of go throughout your time at Seattle U. And the total U-Core will be 55 credits. So your major is going to be, as you might guess, the bulk of your study at Seattle U. For our business majors, the foundation is what makes up the bulk of your major. And that includes business and economics foundational courses, 1/4 of calculus, and an introductory business class that we will talk a little bit more about, I think, as we get into registration with you in the next couple of weeks. But that's a class that you'll probably take in your first quarter. And you see that that's a big block of credits, 82 credits. And then those specializations we talked about. So if you choose accounting or marketing or finance as your specialization, that will be 25 to 35 additional credits. Almost all of our SU classes are 5 credits. So when we're talking about 25 credits, that's about 5, or that is exactly 5 classes. And 180 total credits is required to graduate from SU. So you'll notice that if you add the university core of 55 credits to your major classes, it doesn't quite reach 180 credits. And so the balance that you still need to get to 180 are made up of general electives. And the number of general electives that you'll have to take varies depending on your major. Most of our students have between 2 and 4 classes that they take, usually toward the end of their program, to reach 180 credits. And this is something you don't really need to worry about just yet, but if you're thinking about a second major or a minor, your electives can go toward that. And that's something we can help you to plan once you're here on campus. I know many of you might be wondering, like, how many classes do I take in 1 quarter? Because I think often in high school, you're taking 6 or 7 classes at a time. So the typical load at SU is 3 classes and 15 credits a quarter. If you take 15 credits every quarter, fall, winter, spring, and you do that for 4 years, then you will reach 180 and graduate. So that's kind of a normal load would be 15 credits a quarter. Full-time status, which many students need to maintain. You might need to maintain full-time status if you have scholarships from Seattle U, or from the government. You also might need to maintain full-time status, or you do need to maintain full-time status if you're an international student. And full-time is anything between 12 and 18 credits. Okay, so we're going to play a short video now to give you a little bit more in-depth information about the U-Core.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jeff Wilcox, professor in the Communication Department and director of the University Core. The Core is Seattle University's general education program, the courses that all students take regardless of major. It's our common educational experience. The advisors can help you understand the Core and how those details apply to your particular situation. But I want to take just a couple minutes and help you think about the Core as you approach registration. You have a lot of options, and I want you to get the most out of your Core experience. It might be helpful to think about the Core as working on 2 different levels. At an overall level, the Core consists of 12 courses spread out over all 4 years. It's organized into modules, module 1, 2, 3, and 4. Start with module 1, try to focus on that as your first year. And all of the courses have a U-Core code, UCOR for University Core. That helps you identify them easily in the registration. And for each course, there are lots of different sections. So for example, everybody takes U-Core 1600, Inquiry, Seminar, and Social Sciences. In fall quarter of this year, there are more than 20 sections available of Inquiry, Seminars, and the Social Sciences. And all of those sections are explicitly designed to teach you the same thing. In this case, how to think like a social scientist, analyze data, do critical thinking, become more effective as a speaker and more. But if we start to think at the individual course level instead of the overall system, things get more interesting because here you have a lot of choices and a lot of control over your own education. What we ask faculty members to do is to design courses that accomplish these goals, but to design courses that reflect their own individual academic expertise and passion. So of those 20 plus sections of U-Core 1600 I talked about for fall quarter, there are more than 15 different topics, ranging from food and culture, to breastfeeding, to Darwin and evolution. You've the other core courses as well. You have lots of options available to you, and so you've got choices that you can make. Now, with that information, how does this shape your approach to registration? Well, use the core as a way to design your own education, to create your own adventure, if you will. Are you a pre-major and you're not quite certain of what you want to major in? Use the core as a way to explore, to try out courses in different disciplines, to see what really strikes you where your path is. If you're already a major, use the core to be able to stretch yourself and to support other parts of yourself in the way that you want to grow. Are you an art major who likes to hike? There are sections of U4 1800 about the geology of the Cascades and the Olympic Mountain. Those courses will enrich your time on the trail. Are you a nursing major who likes to doodle? Maybe you should take a U4 1300 course. It is focused on helping you draw or paint or do sculpture or do photography. In short, use the core to help you become the person you want to be by building your strengths and skills and pursuing your interests outside of your major. There are lots of great courses and there are lots of them. One word of caution here though, because each course is unique to the faculty member, there are usually only one or two sections available at each time. And there are lots of other students who are trying to register, so you may not get your first course. Have a plan B, have a plan C, have some backup options available for you. Finally, 3 specific pieces of advice. First, do your research. Use the link to the core course descriptions in Student Planner. That will help you look around and see descriptions written by each of the faculty members of their courses. You can find out more about what's happening. Secondly, take U4 1100, the academic writing seminar, sometime early in your time at Seattle University, ideally in your first or second term. The skills you will learn of writing, research, and critical thinking in that course will help you be a more successful student. And then finally, in fall quarter, look for a success seminar, a course coded with the word success, SUCCESS. These are seminars designed for interim students to help them make a smooth and effective transition to Seattle University and get off to a good start. Finally, in closing, I know you didn't come here for a job. You came here for a major or for other things, and the core winds up being something you have to take now that you're here. That sometimes leads students to think it's something to dismiss or just a set of boxes to check off or something to get out of the way. Please be careful and don't fall into that trend. Use the core for the great opportunity it is, an opportunity to pursue your other passions, to become a whole person, and to explore things you don't want to major in, but you've always had an inkling to learn more. Welcome to Seattle University and welcome to the XU Course. We're glad you're with us.
Okay, so thank you for listening to Professor Philpott share about the UCORE. We just wanted to highlight a little bit what the UCORE looks like for Albers students, because it is slightly different depending on the college that you are at Seattle U. In Module 1, which is the kind of where you're going to start your first year classes, Albers students take 1100, 1300, 1400, 1600, 1800. I don't know why some of them are missing. I've always wondered. Someday I'll ask. But 1200 is an option that you will see if you're looking through student planning. And UCORE 1200 is the math requirement. As Albers students, both business students and econ students, you have a specific math requirement. And so you don't need to take UCORE 1200. So just make sure as you're considering which UCOREs you want to take in your first quarter, you're looking just at these options, at these 5. As you get in, possibly the end of your second year into, or at end of your first year into your second year, you might move into Module 2 of the UCORE. These classes are essential to the Jesuit mission of the university. One is a religion class, the Theological Explorations. That class has lots of different topics, so you can choose the one that interests you the most. There's also a philosophy class, and then all Albers students, both business and economics, are going to take a business ethics class as well. And then Module 3 are classes that you probably won't be taking right away. Most students are taking those junior year is the most popular time. If any of you are thinking about study abroad, and we hope that you are, you might want to save those classes because often at least one of them, sometimes more, can be taken as part of your study abroad experience. As I mentioned, it just recently, there is a math requirement for Albers students. So all of our business students and our economic students need to complete, well, generally just 1/4 of calculus. I know that will come as a relief to some of you. If you are studying economics and you are somebody who enjoys math, you may want to go on to take additional calculus. But for most of our business majors, 1 course in business calculus will be enough. The math placement test, which hopefully most of you have already taken, will help you and us know where the best place for you to start with math is. So the only required math class for Albers students is 1/4 of calculus, like I said. But many students will be better prepared for that calculus class if they take some preparatory classes first. And so depending on your math placement, you might be starting with Math 1000, you might be starting with a pre-calculus, Math 1010 or 1021. We can help you figure out which one is best for you. And then if you test into calculus, you can start there and then you will complete the math requirement possibly in your first quarter. We wanted to show you a sample plan of what the 4 years at SU generally look like. This is not a rigid plan. You have a lot of flexibility about when you take classes and moving things around. But in general, this is kind of you will probably follow a plan that looks roughly like this. And you'll see that this plan is color coded to match the map that we looked at of your university degree earlier. And you'll notice that most of your first year, your freshman year, is mostly blue. And that means that your first year is really going to be spent completing UCORE classes, mostly Module 1 UCORE classes. And that's true, I think, across the university. That's where most students are starting. And then you'll notice there's a little green creeping in at the end of your first year. And then your second year, it really flips so that your classes are mostly green, which is classes for your major. And so for those of you who are really excited about your major and eager to get started, by spring of this first year, you'll probably be ready to start on those classes. And starting in your second year, the bulk of your classes will be for your major. You'll notice in your third and fourth year, almost all of your classes are related to your major, with just a few electives or remaining UCORE classes thrown in. And we don't expect you to kind of memorize this at this point. This is just a rough overview for you. We do have specific planning guides available on the website for each major. So if that is something that would be helpful for you, it's on the website and you can contact your advisor if you need help finding it. For now, we're really going to be focusing mostly on this first quarter, where you'll be choosing the right math class for you, plus 2 UCOREs and your business integration. And now I'm going to pass it over to David to talk you through how to get ready for the registration sessions that start next week.
Thanks, Anne. I will now go over information about the upcoming registration sessions, which start next week. Each registration session will have us advisors and up to 12 students. Please note at the bottom it says, if you've already earned 12 or more college credits, please contact your advisor for an individual registration appointment. Your advisor will be able to go over which credits have transferred in, and you will be able to see how those credits can work within your major. These sessions, which begin next Monday, July 18th, and end on the 28th, are for getting you registered into fall quarter classes. All meetings will be virtual, and to sign up, please check your email and choose an open session that works best for you. There are several things that you can do in MyCLU student planning. In student planning, you can track your academic progress with program evaluation. Under program evaluation, you will see how many credits you have already earned and how many remain, as well as which classes you have left to take for your major. In student planning, you can also plan courses over multiple quarters on your timeline. If you want to make sure that your courses that you've selected for a quarter are the ones that you should be taking, you can share your plan with your advisor for approval. In student planning, you can also see if there are any registration holds, such as the new student advising hold, which should be in student planning right now. On the day of your fall core registration session, this hold will be lifted so that you can be registered, which will also be done in student planning. This is what the main page of student planning looks like. On the left, you can click on the button and go to program evaluation. On the right, you can click on the button and plan out your classes and register. Here's what a sample schedule looks like. In your first quarter, you will be taking 2 UCORE classes, a math class and BUAD 1000. On the schedule, you'll be able to see the class times and meeting locations. And here's a calendar view of the same schedule. Most classes will either meet Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday. When selecting classes, please make sure to choose a class and that works for you. But here are the ways to prepare for your registration session. First, make sure to watch the My Seattle U student planning videos or the course registration 101 video if you haven't done so already. The registration 101 video can be found in Canvas. Also, make sure that you have taken the math placement exam so that you can be placed into the highest level math course possible. All new first-year students are required to complete the Algebra Math Placement exam. Next, add specific sections of 2 Module 1 UCourse, 1 math class, and BUAD 1000 to your plan. Also, make sure to select backup sections of UCourse in case your first choice is full at registration time. Finally, submit any AP, IB, and college transfer credits by sending your official final transcripts to admissions. All right, now I'll hand it back to Anne.
All right, so now we've given you lots of details and possibly an overwhelming amount of information. We hope it's not too overwhelming. And we just want to reassure you that we will be with you throughout this process, and there also is a lot of support on campus for you once you're on campus this fall. I think Hannah already talked a bit about the Albers Placement Center. We're really lucky to have this in-house career center. And if any of you are, wanting some career counseling, maybe you're not completely sure about which major is right for you, they can be an excellent resource, as well as, like Hannah said, for internships and for job placement eventually as well. So they're going to accompany you throughout your time at SU. If you're feeling stressed when you get on campus, if the adjustment to college is kind of difficult, which it is, I think it is a big adjustment and many students do struggle a bit. We just want you to know that there is counseling and psychological services on campus. These services are free and they're available to all students. So please, if you're feeling a bit stressed or you're a little anxious, please take advantage of those services. If you have a diagnosed disability, there is disability services on campus, and they can help you connect with the resources and the accommodations that you need to be successful. We also encourage all students to take advantage of tutoring. There's also kind of academic coaching available. If you maybe want to improve your study skills or your time management, or just think about how you are as a student and you'd like some help, the learning assistance programs can be helpful for that. The library also has lots of great services, and we even have tutoring in Albers. So if you're curious about any of these services, or you're wondering if there's a service that we offer that you haven't heard about, your advisor can be a great resource to connect you with those services. So just a few next steps. We're almost reaching the end here. Please do continue to check your SU email throughout the summer. You probably don't need to check it every day. We'll ask you to do that once you're on campus, but check it regularly in case there are important messages from admissions, or possibly your advisor might reach out to you regarding your schedule. And it's best if you can get it set up on your phone or on another mobile device so that you can check it easily. Continue to work through your new student checklist. You may still need to submit some immunizations or something like that. So it's best if you can get all of that done before you get to campus in the fall. And then I know a lot of you have already signed up for a registration session. I think most of you next week, so that's great. If you haven't signed up yet, they do go through July 28th. So please go into the admissions portal and get signed up for your registration session. If you're having any trouble, let us know. And if any of you do have 25 or more college credits, that can be AP classes, international baccalaureate, community college classes, or college in the high school, anything like that, please do reach out to your advisor, because it might be best for you to meet with them individually to register instead of going to the group session. So once you're on campus in the fall, you can find us in the Piggott building. Here's a nice little picture of it. We are all in the same area. And over the summer, you can reach out to us either to our individual emails, to our group email, which is here. You can also get a lot of information about different Albers majors and the programs that we offer on our website. And now we still have